Hey everybody, what's up? This is Matt with Let's Talk Music. I'm here with Travis Wheeler, the bass player for Sleep Signals.
Yeah.
Travis, welcome and thank you for being on my little talk show here.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me. It's excited.
So, I was reading that you guys were founded in 2014. You hit the road early 2015 with over 500 shows in 45 states.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Sleep Signals has been pretty active. It's so I am a newer member. I am the newest. But I did go out on that last tour with POD and From Ashes to New and All Good Things.
Mhm.
I came across Sleep Signals because I was in another band in San Diego that was ironically from Minneapolis as well. So it was like a little bit of cross pollination action. And then we did a little run Southern California deal with Sleep Signals. And that was actually when Robert had his stroke in 2018. So there was a fill in.
Okay.
But yeah. So that's how I knew of Sleep Signals. And then 2020, everything kind of shut down, and I saw a video and I was like, this is awesome. This project is still going, and I noticed that there were some other new members too. So I hit up Cody, their old guitar player, and was just like, hey, what's going on with Sleep Signals, and what's up? How are you? And all that stuff. And then he was like, yeah, actually, you should hit them up because they need a bass player right now. So that's how I got involved with them. But before that, I had definitely had seen all of their, because it happened like they kind of went up another level after we had did our run with them, and then I started seeing like the big tours, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. I'd like to be a part of that.
Yeah, I seen there was like a major full US tour with bands like Hell Yeah, Nonpoint, Atreyu, Memphis Mayfire, Ice Nine Kills, which I seen in the press release that one of them had commented on your guys' ethic and like the constant touring. And that's kind of how they built themselves up. And, they were commending you guys for doing the same thing.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. I knew joining Sleep Signals was not going to be like, oh, let's have fun being in a band. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun too, but there's a lot of work that goes into it when you want to do this for forever. And I've wanted to do this for forever too. So it takes a ton of work to make it, a living and
Oh, yeah.
the only thing that you do, for sure.
Well, not to mention, I mean, you got to have chemistry with the guys that you play with. I know that over the years, so many great bands have split up, or people have left or whatever because of egos. I get it. I mean, when you get that big, like let's just use Skid Row for instance. When you get that big, it's hard not to have egos. But I mean, you also got to look at, you got to get along with them guys pretty much 24/7.
Yeah. Shout out Skid Row though. That's the band that got me into rock way back in 1990.
Nice. Yeah, that was one of my favorites, man. I've seen Sebastian probably 4 or 5 times by himself. I seen Skid Row. Let's see. I seen him once with Pantera, and then I think 2 or 3 times after that. But yeah, always loved him. I always thought that Sebastian had one of the greatest voices in rock. I mean, the dude was no joke. I mean, you back in those days, especially the hair metal bands, man, you kind of listen to the radio and the CDs, and you're like, man, can this guy really sing like this? And then you go to the show and they pull it out, and you're like, damn. Yeah.
Sebastian Bach, definitely one of the top vocalists. Their new guy is pretty good too. I saw like some recent thing just a few months with a newer guy, and he was killing it too.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, the first or the EP that you guys released, I'm going to let you say it because I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up.
Ethereal.
Ethereal. Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, is it ethereal or, I didn't want to mess it up.
that's it.
So, the first song that you released off of that was Fireproof.
Right. Yeah, early 2020.
Right. And then, of course, 2021 hit and
Well,
COVID and all that crap. And then also, we had just, kind of talked about this pre recording. You guys had a severe or bus accident.
we did, yeah. So we were, I forget how many shows we were in. We were only two dates in with POD.
Mm-hmm.
We had met up with them in Denver, and that was an amazing show. And then we went to Omaha, Nebraska, and did the waiting room, and that was an amazing show. And it was the first night that I did the wrong thing and fell asleep in my show clothes,
Mm-hmm.
but I was thankful because my so what happened was we were just driving down the highway, minding our business, and this semi rear-ended us, and so it jackknifed our trailer into our bus and made us all squirrely, and we flipped. And I was in the very back with our photographer and Matt Kinway, awesome dude, and we're just sleeping. It was early in the morning, like around like 4:30 ish, 4:20.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he just hit us, and then we flipped, and I found there was a window above me that I ended up being feet first in somehow, and I lost half of my right foot. So I've kind of got like it's called a transmetatarsal amputation, and then I lost 3 toes on my left foot, both ankles obliterated. My arm was
Oh, wow.
crazy screwed. Like I held it up like this, and it went over like a C, like in a perfect curve. And I was like, this is bad. I had 3 metacarpal compound fractures out of my hand like that. They had told me like, hey, don't get your hopes up about your hand. We may have to amputate that as well, because compound fractures are, super high risk for infection.
Right.
And they couldn't put any metal in there because staph loves metal. So in my hand is metal free just because it was just so messed up. But after, the accident happened in August, and it's June now, so almost a year, and I was in the hospital for 3 months, lots of occupational therapy and physical therapy, and it's gotten me, and I had one more surgery, and it's gotten me out of the wheelchair and like walking around, and I play every single day, just trying to get as, or not as good as I was, but better,
Right.
is to just live life and just be grateful, and I'm alive.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely something to reflect on. How about the other members? Were any of them severely injured too?
Yeah, so Wyatt had a brain bleed, but they were able to get him out of the hospital before, like, they had to, correct, like, it went down before they had to drain it out.
Mhm.
And Robert had a stroke only a couple of years ago, and then he hit his head pretty well. So he was already fragile, and then he was in the driver's side, and so his, or no, I'm sorry, not the driver's side, but the passenger side, so the side that we flipped on.
Mm-hmm.
He has hit his head pretty well. Our lead guitar player Jay, he has ligament damage, so like I my stuff was mostly bone, but his was more ligament. So like he holds his hand like this, and it's like, floppy finger. But at least everything happened to the right side of our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
and the left side is still good to go. My wrist my wrist was broken too, but they put metal in that. Grant fared out okay. Tons of physical, like with an accident like this, it's not just the physical scars that show, like everybody in the bus is going to remember this for the rest of our lives,
Right.
as one of the most traumatic things, if not the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to us in our entire life. So yeah, we fared out. I was the only one that got stuff cut off of me, basically. But we're all walking around, we can play, and we're all, if we weren't 100% dedicated before, it is 1,000% going forward, because now it's got to be worth it,
Right. Well, shit, man. I almost feel like you need to be on behind the music, like the bands of the tragedies of, like, Leonard Skinner and Def Leppard and stuff. It just you don't hear too much about, bad accidents like that with, musicians or whatever. So I'm actually quite surprised that I didn't hear about it, because I mean, I've got all the major outlets on my phone. Everything's, I mean, since I started doing so many interviews recently, like, everything on my phone is music. I mean, I'll see a few, Facebook posts from some friends, and this music, so, which is great, because I mean, I love music, and that's why I do what I do. So, like, have you always played bass, or did you ever play any other instruments?
Yeah, I started with keys when I was about 5. It's funny you mentioned Leonard Skinner. My a really close friend of the family was Dale Krantz's vocal coach.
Oh, okay.
He was that's Gary Rossington's wife, and
Right.
was always over at the house. I've met Gary a bunch of times when I was a kid. But yeah, I started with keys. She really got me into that family friend. Her name's Rachel, and she got me into music, just the way to play it as well as to listen to it at an early, right. And then I had it's a funny story too. Like, my parents were foster parents, but I was their real kid. But I had, like, all of these other teenagers, like, in the house all the time.
Right.
And that's how, the Skid Row comes in, when it's like, oh, here's a tape, I don't want to listen to this anymore. So I would just have this funnel of music all the time, and knew very young, like 8, that this is what I wanted to do for forever. So I went from keys, and then I did, like, the band thing, when you're in school, in high school. Well, just middle school. I didn't do it in high school. I just was like, no, that's lame. I want to play guitar. But that was the next step. And then I played guitar for a long time, and then got into bass probably around 8 years ago. No, 12 years ago. Wow, getting old. But yeah, that and wanted to, because it got to the point where there's a lot of guitar players out there. And
Oh yeah.
I just want to play bass, or I just want to play in a band, like, and I want music and make people happy and do the thing. So I wasn't gonna let an instrument decide my fate on whether or not be in a project or not. So pretty much since around, like, 2009, I've had a bass with me as well as a guitar. And then since around 2015, it's been pretty much all bass.
I see you got a 5-string behind you there. What brand's that?
Yeah, we're Ernie Ball Music Man artists. And this is a BFR, so Ball Family Reserve, Ernie Ball Music Man.
That's a good looking instrument there.
It is the nicest instrument that I've ever owned in my entire life. And it's a cool story. I just actually posted it on TikTok. So I bought this bass before I got the Sleep Signals gig for the Sleep Signals gig. It was just like, and then we got in the accident. Long story short, the original one got destroyed. Since it was actually was, I don't know if it's destroyed because it was never found. Like literally never found. My other bass was in there, the one that I had for about a week. It's a custom build that they did for us before the tour. But since this is a BFR, the Ball Family Reserve, there were only 89 of them made. And while I was in the hospital bed, while my hand was still pinned up and casted and everything else, I was able to secure one of the 3 left.
Okay.
So there were three left, and I got another brand new one. And I actually like this one more than the original one. So, and then I've got this 4-string Sterling. So Sterling Ball is Ernie Ball's son, I believe. If anybody can correct me on that, that's just what I know. But this is like the overseas kind of thing. But for Sleep Signals pretty much plays everything super down low. So I've got to be at GCF. So a low G where the B is on the 5-string typically, which is super duper low. And the guitar players, we have songs in drop C, drop A, and drop B that we play live in the same set, same instruments. But since I can have all of those notes available to me, I just stay the same tuning. And then on the helixes, the guitar players just push of a button, go to the next song, and change the tuning changes. And right. As long as the instrument is in tune, it's not like that thing with the old Roland system or whatever that could like make your guitar in tune no matter what it would be. It's not like that, but it'll just shift it all down. And with guitars, it works really well. With bass, not so much. So I have the hard job of playing things transposed in all keys, but that's okay. That's okay with me. I like doing that.
Hey man, as long as you like it, that's all that matters. Yeah. Also, I just wanted to mention that Fireproof was your first commercial radio success back in 2021. It was featured on XM's Octane and spun on 80 plus radio stations. Also 11 weeks on Billboard active charts, which I'm sure you already knew that, but I'm just, mentioning that for people that are going to watch, So, I mean, yeah, you guys were really on a roll. And then it's like this bus accident kind of that, and COVID just kind of,
COVID happening, some members switching out, like COVID, like if you look at the amount of people that are not doing the thing that they were doing before COVID, like it's astronomical. I mean, That's why labor crisis, like everybody's just doing different things, or they died in COVID. So,
yeah.
So it's during 2020, everybody kind of went to the wayside, even with, lots of bands actually that I know. And, people found other things to do, and there were some voids left over. So like, yeah, actually in 2017, Sleep Signals had a bus fire, not a wreck, but a fire.
Oh, Lord.
And then 2018, Rob had a stroke. 2020 happened. And then 2021, we're getting things back. We've got a solid lineup. Grant Evans is our rhythm guitar player and another backup vocalist. And I was a fan of his before I even found out that he was in Sleep Signals now. And like, I was like, whoa, dude. And he's like, man, shut up, dude. I'm like, no, dude, I'm starstruck, man. You're incredible. But yeah, we got the solid lineup, and then we go out with POD and From Ashes to New and All Good Things, bands that are really crushing it right now. And we're like, all right, this is going to be it. And then we get hit by a truck.
Wow.
But there's no give up in us. We're just going to stay the course. And we had the Return that we just released. The Friday before last.
Yeah. That's all. That was the next thing I was going to mention, because it was kind of a fitting name for a song after, everything you guys have been through?
Sure. Purely coincidental. That video was done before the wreck, and actually, I think in February of 2021. So the name and the somber mood is purely coincidental, but I think it does fit, and it does. The song is so strong that it deserves, to be, and the video is so good. It deserves to be the thing that we come back with after the accident. And it was, also coincidentally the only single that we haven't released on EP. So we worked really hard on the video, worked really hard on the production, and didn't want to just be like, okay, this isn't, in context anymore. Let's just toss it. But no, we wanted to get it out, and we still have lots more in the hopper, but we wanted to get that song out. And that video is amazing.
Yes.
I'm a fan of my own band.
I did. I really enjoyed the video. Who did the video for you? Was it a friend or?
Yeah, a gentleman that Robert knows named Adam. Spacing on his last name right now, but yeah, incredible job. His credits are at the end of the video as well, and in the description.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it was a great video, and the song too. I mean, Shauna she'll load my phone up with press releases, and I'll flip through them and look at them and whatever. And I mean, pretty much I've never said no to an interview. Rather, I thought the band was mediocre or or whatever. But I've always I give everybody a fair shake. I mean, because you guys are out there doing your thing. You're playing your hearts out. You're trying to like you said, make it a full-time gig or whatever. And I mean, it's really rough in today's music industry, especially seeing as how, music is free more or less anymore. You can stream it anywhere. I mean, I literally just went to Wednesday. I did an interview with Otherwise, Saliva, and Ninth Planet Out. And my wife bought me a record player for Christmas. And it was like the greatest gift she's ever given me. And so I bought an autographed record from Saliva, because I mean, it's freaking cool. I mean, I've got it right here. You've got their autographs on it. And then the songs, I mean, it's got all the good ones, Your Disease, Click, Click, Boom. But, it was more of just, that's a way to support the artists,
Sure.
I mean, buying their merch and whatever anymore is like that, and touring is just the big way of them making their money now.
Right.
So anything that I can do, I mean, my YouTube channel isn't, like Logan Paul or anybody like that. I'm just, I'll put my videos up there and hoping they catch on. And, it's just my way of being able to help you guys out of, getting you out there. I mean, I put it on my Facebook, all my social media. So,
our buddy Josh is out with Saliva right now. Josh Kulak, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you talk with Saliva in Ninth Planet?
Yeah. Ninth Planet Out, Josh.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah. He's actually in the interview. Yeah,
he's a homie.
Yeah. Yeah, they were a good band. They were actually a really good band. I mean, their stage show was amazing.
Amazing.
Yes,
yep.
I
his light show.
Yes, that one. Originally, it was just lined up to be Saliva, and then I went over to the merch table and I was talking with their tour manager, and she's like, yeah, we'll set something up. And then here come, Adrian Patrick, like, hey man, I'll talk to you. I was like, hell yeah. Cause I was like, I was trying to get a hold of your people. He's like, oh man, we don't need them suits. He's like, I got you.
Yeah.
So, and he was comical, man. We by the time we got to our interview, everybody was already gone, the band, and not the bands, but all the audience and everything. And he was a few shots in. So it kind of a comical but short interview, but I mean, great guy. So, I mean,
Right.
it was just, I love this, man. It's fun. I enjoy talking to people about it. This was kind of, again, a suggestion of my wife's was to, start a blog, and I'm a go big or go home kind of guy. So I started doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Glad to be.
it is, it's just something really, I do. I love it. I've always loved music. I mean, I don't think I really ever had the patience to try and play. I mean, I played a little bit of drums, played a little bit of guitar, can't sing for a lick, man. I mean, if it was that in my life, I'd be dead. So, but
Well, if you ever want to get into it, there's only 12 notes. That's it.
on the bass,
On anything.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you got your extensions and everything else, and
That A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And then
uh-huh.
sharp, that's in between every one except for A and B, or I'm sorry, B and C and E and F. That's it. Yeah. B and C and E and F are the only ones that don't have sharps and flats. Everything else does, and that's only 12 notes. That's it.
Nice.
So you look at a big 88 key piano, or look at a big bass with lots of frets, or you look at a flute with a bunch of buttons, like it's all the same. It's all the same. Once you iron that out and realize how the notes are separated, then it's easy peasy.
Oh, I might have to look into that. I actually had a guy that I did an interview with, Dan Sindel, that he was popular back in the 80s, like early 80s metal scene, and 70s, was on stage with Wendy O. Williams and people like that. And he was like, well, man, if you want to learn, he's like, I'll teach you. He's like, we'll do it over Zoom. I was like, huh.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's never too late. It's never never too old, never too late. Like, you can do anything you want.
Yeah,
and
that is true.
Yeah, making music is one of it, or one of those things, then by all means do it. I would say get a nice instrument. And it's not just because we're sponsored by Ernie Ball Music Man, but Ernie Ball Music Man, nicest guitars and basses instruments in the world. A lot of people don't know it's Leo Fender who started it.
Mm-hmm.
Right when he left Fender, when CBS bought him out. But amazing brand.
Awesome. Well, I just another question here, and then we'll wrap it up. So what's on the horizon for you guys? I mean, you're talking about there's some more singles to release. How about hitting the road? Are you guys getting out anytime soon?
Yeah. So in terms of music, there's a collection of songs in the hopper, as well as new stuff being written currently. And as to how many songs there are and all that stuff, I really can't say, or what order they'll get released.
Right.
We do things together, like we do, what's the word? Unanimous voting. So it'll be all of our inputs for sure, going forward with which songs to do next. For the time frame of those, I would say expect something by the end of this year, or maybe early next year.
Okay.
And as far as shows, I think there may be some show announcements coming up.
Sweet.
Yeah. As far as to where and when, needs to be ironed out a little bit more, and then we'll be able to announce something. But yeah, really excited for the rest of this year. Really excited for, the years to come. I can't imagine being with a better group of guys. I've never been in a band where, and it may sound bad, but we're all just so good, like everybody does their job really well. And that's always something that I've always wanted, to be able to work with like-minded individuals and work towards this goal that we all share, and all of our goals are aligned, and we're just trying to get to the finish line and make as many people happy and put as many people or smiles on people's faces as we can along the way, and just do it up.
Awesome, man. Well, I can say that I love your enthusiasm. I'm actually like happy for you being happy, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like wearing off on me through the computer.
Yeah, it
But
does. Like sometimes people will say that. People are like, well, sometimes, you know, I don't feel like doing or being happy or whatever. It's contagious. If you
mhm,
just have a positive attitude, people around you are gonna feel that same way. And what else am I gonna do? You know, sit around and cry or like, oh, I don't have my feet anymore. Like,
right.
you know, whatever, man. It's my meat armor suit thing that was damaged, and I'm gonna do the best I can. Um, and even if it was like completely gone or whatever, my even if my whole body, I would Darth Vader myself out. Like, I think it's so cool that I've got like metal in my arm and stuff. I'm like Wolverine or something. You know, it's
Right. Without the calls.
yeah, it's something to be pumped about, I think, instead of like, "Whoa, my life sucks."
Yeah, I mean,
Ugh.
you definitely got dealt a bad hand there, and then I mean, you've completely turned it into something positive. So, I mean, if anything, anybody can take away from this is some inspiration. You know, I mean, you're sitting there and you're like, hey, I'm happy. I'm doing what I love. I'm not sitting around feeling sorry for myself. You know, yes, this shit sucked that it happened to me, but it did. And you know, that's great, buddy. I really do admire you for that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, there's even with all the things that have happened to me, like I'm still further in life than I was before. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I'm where I should be. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Like I'm exactly doing exactly where I should be and doing exactly what I should be doing. And I don't know. I hope everybody else can do the same.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm following you guys on your social media. I'm subscribed to your YouTube channel, so I look forward to the new stuff. And
Wait,
Travis, I really appreciate you being here with me. I really appreciate your willingness to talk about your tragedy, and you know, and again, admire your just your whole attitude on life, and think that you could be a great inspiration for people.
dude, Matt, thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and let's do it again.
Sounds
Let's
like a
keep.
plan, man. All
All
right.
right,
You have a good evening.
you too.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.